Okay. Okay, we're now live. There we go.
Excellent. Cool. All right. Well, I'll start off just giving a quick walkthrough through VS Code of the extension that I've been building, and have a look at how we can see if we can hook this up into team build and get a VS package at the end of the day.
Yep.
So I got myself a Node MCU microcontroller a couple of months ago. It's been flashed to run Esprino, which is a JavaScript environment for microcontrollers. I started playing around with the tooling that they have for Esprino. It's a web app. It's a Chrome app, which means you got to install a plugin from Chrome and then launch Chrome, and then it launches into a new window. And I found the experience fairly clunky. I also found it was running really high CPU usage on Win 10. So I thought, well, hey, let's have a look at how else we can do it. Like all the stuff for Esprino is open source, so I started poking around in there and found a node module which allows you to interact with the device, and it can be either run from just the command line or you can load it into your own app. And it got me thinking of, well, if I can load this module into my own application, why couldn't I load it into a VS Code extension? It sort of led me to the path of where I am today of building an extension for VS Code that allows you to interact with a Esprino microcontroller, be it a Node MCU or any other microcontrollers that can be flashed to run Esprino. I also found a couple of interesting edge cases that we'll get to along the way about building VS Code extensions, particularly when you're dealing with something so non-web as an IoT device. So fairly standard extension. We've got a source folder, an output folder. This is written with TypeScript. If we just bring up the package JSON, I've got a couple of commands that I export that allow you to interact with the device when it's connected. So you list the various ports of your machine, so you can work out which port you want to connect to from the device. So this is using the Esprino library from NPM. Connect to the device, so you pick your COM port, you connect the device, and then sending JavaScript from VS Code to the device, and then getting the output from that written back to an output window inside of VS Code. So you get the full feedback loop cycle purely within inside of VS Code. You don't have to jump out to any other tooling.
Cool.
From a dependency standpoint, so like I said, we've got TypeScript and VS Code. Unsurprisingly, it's a TypeScript extension in VS Code because it's VS Code. From dependencies, we have the Esprino node module, and this is the one that if you're running from the command line or bootstrapping into your own application. This is also where we started finding some of the edge cases with the way VS Code, or more accurately, the way Electron works. Electron has a fork of Node that it runs. So while it says that it's running Node in a particular version, so if I just check this one, this is Node 4.11. It's actually not the Node 4.11 that you would download from nodejs.org. It's a variation on that. And to get native Node modules, which you kind of need if you're, say, talking to a COM port, we need to recompile those to work with that Electron version of Node. So for that, there's an Electron rebuild Node module, which very conveniently does what I needed to do. So what I've done is I've created a script in my my package JSON that I can run called rebuild native modules. So the thought was that once the install has been done from VS Code to install the extension, it would then run this rebuild native modules command, which then invokes the Electron rebuild, specifies the version of Electron, and then recompiles these native modules to work against the version of Node that Electron is running. That's the theory. So we need to sort of make sure that still works. That's kind of the story of the extension and some of the challenges that I think that could be fun to try and get this set up inside of our build agent.
So, but you've already got this working inside VS Code, hey? So it's not like it doesn't work. It's just how does this impact the build process?
Yeah, so I've got this fully working inside of VS Code. running on my machine. The challenge is now to see about getting it working on someone else's machine.
Yeah.
It works on my machine, so suits my needs. What more do I need? Problem solved.
So, so have you tried doing a VSCE package on this as it stands today?
Yeah, I actually have published. I published the original version of the package when I kind of as a V0.1 demo, just seeing if I could get it working. When I did that, I was actually not using the Espruino node module. I was using another node module called serial port, which is what the Espruino module actually uses internally. And serial port is the native package that reads and writes to COM ports. So I was actually doing a whole bunch of manual stuff about reading to the COM port, parsing the response, unpacking like the U8 arrays that were coming back from the device, and then trying to write those to the output window. And then I found the Espruino node module, and it was doing all that for me. So I was like, okay, well, that's going to be a whole lot easier. So there is actually something in the VS Gallery at the moment, but it's a very early build, and it was basically like, can I actually get this working? And I think that if you try and install that on a machine, it's probably going to fail spectacularly, because I didn't quite understand the need to rebuild native modules and stuff like that as I now understand it.
Yeah. See, I've never done native modules with Node myself, so this will be an interesting learning exercise.
Yeah, I tend to try and avoid native modules because on Windows they're a bit of a pain to try and install. You need Python and a C++ compiler so that Node GYP can be bootstrapped, and then that shells down to a C++ compiler. So you got to install a bunch of stuff for Visual Studio for that to work. And I'm not a C++ guy myself, so I really don't understand what sort of tool chain I need for that. I just keep following the links on Google until I get to the point where it's like, okay, cool, I've installed enough things that the compiler errors are all gone and that I get the native module at the end of the day. I probably should have at some point understand it better, but that's sort of the end scenario I've aimed for thus far.
That's how you explore the problem space, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you don't have your module with you there today, do you? So we can't see this running, but
no,
maybe.
Well, we can get some of the way there. I've just fired up the development host, but I think I'm going to have to swap Hangouts to present another window, unless you can see the
I think you present
extension.
2 at a time. I think you can present 2 windows at a time.
All right, let me just go back to Hangouts and screen share. See.
Cool.
Okay, extension development host. Share that. Okay, so should have swapped to a different VS Code. It's now a whole. Yep. Okay. Cool. So my extension, if I go Espruino ports now, assuming this is working, I think the error here is going to be that I don't have my module here, so it's not going to work. But the idea is that
not finding port that looks like it's got the.
Oh wait, no, sorry. There we go. I think I might have another bug around the activation.
Okay.
I currently have no connected COM ports that I can talk to because I don't have my module here. But what this has done is internally, this has gone down to a native node module, which is then read out of the COM port and gone, hey, is that there? You also see in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, it says disconnected, no port. What that's done is when I loaded up my VS Code extension, it's tried to it's looked to see whether or not I had a settings file. Actually, if I just go change folder, open folder, I'm going to swap to a different folder. All right. I just realized, I had the wrong VS Code folder open. This is my test code base that I use for testing with the actual module. You'll see that I have a bug down here. It's got in the bottom right-hand corner, it says connected to COM port 3. It's not really true because I don't have a device on COM port 3. And that's why it says in the output window, connected, undefined. It's a known bug that I've got. So it's tried to connect, but I'm not handling an error state properly. So it's gone, oh, yep, cool. I've called the connect method. I'm going to mark you as connected. If I just go Espruino disconnect, so it's going to keep trying to reconnect. List ports again. It says no available COM ports. Now, normally I'd be able to do something like run current file, and that'd take the current file and then send it across to the device. But because I'm not actually connected, it's not going to work.
Yep.
That's sort of
Cool.
the workflow. And this is on the right hand side of VS Code here. I've got an output window, which is a Sprino, where so you've got your Git tasks, Git and task output window. I just have a custom one for a Sprino, and this is what the device writes back to.
Yep. When you do your debug logging and stuff.
Yep. Okay, cool. Let's go back, and I'm going to change to. Whoa. So if I have Hangouts open and then screen share the Chrome window with Hangouts, that's like, this reminds me of
It's Inception. Like, Hangouts Inception.
Well, no, for me it's the bouncing solitaire window. When you can put like Windows 95 and the bouncing cards, it's like Cascade. Okay, let's go to my VSTS instance.
Okay. So you've got the source code for this in GitHub, right? Because it's an open source project.
Yeah, so I have it on my GitHub, which turns out I actually have not signed into GitHub on Chrome. Let's not sign in. And PAL code.
Does it mean you're a Microsoft Edge MVP? Is that?
Yeah, like, funny. Like, I don't actually seem to use Chrome all that often, and I'm not even signed into GitHub. Like, that's an indication of how infrequently I use Chrome. So here's the code for the repository. For the extension up on GitHub, and we'll need to connect that into VSTS.
Yep. Right. So that means we'll need a build definition. Yep. And then we'll need to create the connection to GitHub.
Now, we probably want to start with an empty template for this one, because I don't think that we're going to have anything out of the box that supports this. And I'm going to set that to GitHub. Sure. We'll do continuous integration. Okay, create.
There we go.
All right. I'm just going to go repository.
Set the repository. Yep. So I don't know if you've spent any time working with this stuff, but GitHub is kind of like a first-class connection into VSTS. So you can create a connection, and you provide your sort of keys to your GitHub account, and that way you can do things like pick repositories. So if you jump in there.
Yep. Yeah, I actually haven't used the GitHub support. I've only used VSTS. So go GitHub.
So I got a nice little OAuth flow here.
I am actually going to have to sign into GitHub. And everyone gets to see a one-time access token generated.
Yep.
Let's go authenticate.
Quick, I'm typing it in so I can take control of your GitHub account.
Yeah, sure. You mean you know my password as well? That's a little disconcerting. All right, authorize. Hang on, pop-up blocked. Allow pop-ups. Authorize. Ta-da. Yep. Alrighty. Now, authorize application. Click the green buttons and things go away. Connection name. Yep.
Cool.
All right. So there we go. That's all done. Come back here. We have to do refresh. Yep. There we go. Aaron Powell. Pick a repository. We're going to be down towards the bottom. There it is. Default branch master. Clean. Yeah, we'll do a clean build. Why not? No submodules for this one. All right. Okay, back to build. So
I keep on getting text messages, and they're knocking me out of the chat.
Oh.
Cortana keeps interrupting me and asking me questions.
Quality. All right. Okay, so from the available tasks, actually, I'm just trying to see. where would I find npm, or would you be running this just as like as a PowerShell? Let's start with Windows first.
Yeah. So it automatically clone the repository. So there's actually an npm package for VSCE to do the packaging.
Yep.
So you can just go and you need to first install the npm package.
Okay, so I probably want. Actually, no, I've just got a thought whether I would make it so that my so VSCE is actually packaged within that I'm dependent on, so that I don't have to do pre-build steps to install. So you kind of do a clone and an npm install, and then VSCE is local to your workspace, or would you have it kind of a global install?
You'll probably do well. It's up to you. I think VSCE works either way. So I'm just thinking. I'm just looking at my VS Code extension that I've written. And I'm looking at the build that I've done previously. And from memory, one of the things that I had to do was update npm first as well.
Okay, yeah.
So,
It's probably
oh no,
npm.
actually, actually, scratch that. I was able to do a VS Code build with just the version of npm that's installed by default. So it's a fairly old version node that's on the hosted build agent.
Okay.
So which may cause a problem. But what I would do is I'd do an npm install first.
Yep. This add task dialog needs a search box.
It does.
So is there?
I think it's under utility. Yep. There it is. Yep.
Add. Okay, so this will be install.
That's all you need.
So that'll install my packages, but I probably want to, as you said, I want to install VSCE, or VSE, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's right. So if you go on down to under advanced.
Yep.
Then I put in arguments there.
Okay, so VCE.
VSCE, I think it is.
VSCE. Okay, we'll just go, is it code?
You'll need to put the -G in there as well if you're going to do it globally.
Yep. Let's just go to VS Code and double check what the plugin
it's VSCE.
is. Okay. Cool. VSCE -G because we run that global. Cool. And then I will rename that npm install install VSCE-G, so I know what that one is. Yep. And then I'll add another step, which will be, let's see, is it under utilities? No, maybe it's under package.
Package, maybe. There you go.
Where it is. And then that will be just the npm install of the stuff that my module itself will require. All right.
Right. So I reckon, step one, I reckon if you run that build and just see what happens.
Build extension. let's go like minimum viable product. Let's start off by see what it does if I just do the basic. That. Why did it lose my repository information?
Oh no, it just takes a while to refresh in.
Yep. Triggers. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you can just do a manual trigger.
Q on that. And this is when we find out that the native modules can't be installed, and it's just all going to fall apart, and we cry ourselves to sleep overnight.
That's right. This might be a very short broadcast.
All right. So, install. First step. Well, we can run PowerShell commands. I wonder if it could. I'm just thinking of like really crazy ideas of. Oh wow! Is that NP? Is it saying NPM 0.2?
Yeah, it's a really old version.
Wow, that is like seriously old.
So what I do in one of the builds I've got with npm, I've got I do an npm update before I do anything else.
Yeah, I can see that making sense. Yeah, I am now curious of like what version of Node is also on this machine.
Yeah, I think
On the
it's one of the 0 dots.
So I've written a PowerShell module called NVM, which is a Node version manager that allows you to install a version of Node without having to. Well, it allows you to install multiple versions of Node on a machine, so you don't have to futz with install paths or anything like that. It just installs them into a local directory, and then you choose which one you want to use, and it just bootstraps all the appropriate environment variables and npm variables and stuff like that. So I'm like, I wonder if I could install that Node module. If I can install the PowerShell module first, then install whatever version of Node I want, and then I've got like the version of npm I want, and then
Yeah, you might have to.
Just do all the craziness.
Yeah, you sort of. I mean, the hosted pool kind of has a configuration out of the box, which, it's pretty low level. You can do a lot of the stuff that you want to do, but if you're doing really specific work, you're either going to look at having your own agent or trying to force the agent that is in the hosted pool to get up to a version that you're happy with.
Yeah, and this is why if you can install as much as you can in a local isolated fashion. So, like I said, Node modules, being able to install them for a version of Node that you can install just in the working directory that the build is running with inside of, then that's a whole lot easier.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. So it is actually running Node UIP, which means
I think it's got Python installed on the hosted agent.
That's not looking promising. Oh, the other fun thing I found out is that the version of Node that's bundled with Electron that VS Code uses is x86, not x64, or not the architecture of your machine. So that introduces a bunch of other problems when you're trying to rebuild native modules. You've got to rebuild them as x86. I was like, frustrating.
Yep. So is it downloading the Electron package?
Yeah, so it's downloading Electron because it needs to recompile. So that's the version of Electron that it'll be using to recompile native Node modules. Yep, here we go. So Contextify is one of the native modules that I know that we have.
It worked.
That looks like it actually worked. I'm just going to say that I'm actually really surprised by that.
Wow.
It should work first time. Don't trust a build that works first time.
Quick, stop the broadcast.
Okay, yeah, cool. We're done. So you can find this in the VS Gallery.
So the next thing we've got to do is figure out what file we want to upload into the artifact repository. So does that actually, you didn't run the VSTS package command there, though?
No, we didn't run VSTS. We also didn't run the Electron rebuild. At the moment, that's actually, I'm curious to see whether I can do an Electron rebuild here. I'm going to add that as a step.
Yep.
Package, add, close, and this will be run with arguments. That's not what I install.
Wrong one.
Yeah. Run. What did I call it? Called it rebuild native modules. Rebuild native modules. Advanced. Run. And that. Okay. Save.
And trigger that build again, see what happens.
Yeah. Come on, save, little thing.
It's still saving. So you got the little bar going across the top.
Oh wait, no, there we go. Done. Q build. Yeah, so the train of thought I was having around VSCE is it's some discussions that I've seen on from people in the Node community about the use of global modules versus locally installed modules, and that if you have a whole bunch of global dependencies, global modules that you're expected, then it kind of can be a bit challenging for someone to come to your project and initially get started, because it's like
things become brittle.
Yeah, it's it's the same thing from a .NET perspective. Of you install these 5 SDKs before you can start compiling the application. Install these 5 global node modules. So what the discussion threads I saw were about was they were saying that you should install all the modules as just local dependencies, and then have npm scripts defined that run them. So you would have like npm run gulp instead of doing gulp default or gulp release. You'd have npm run gulp release, and that then shells down to running /node underscore modules /bin /gulp. And I'm like, oh, I could actually see some value in that, and I could see the value in doing that. Like with VSCE, is you actually take that dependency, then you don't have that first step of install VSCE globally. You just install install your normal dependency set, and then you have a step that is npm run VSCE, and then
I've started avoiding global modules if I can. So if I can install something locally and make it work, I will. I generally haven't bothered going to the extra step of defining the npm commands, but I probably should. That's normally because I've just got a bunch of terminal windows open with those commands preloaded into the history. So, but I think that's good advice.
Yeah, because it gives you that really clean git clone repository, and then you're ready to go. You've got everything you need for that repository. That mantra of everything that you need to run that code should be either in the repository, or you've got you don't need to do other installs other than download the dependencies for your module.
Yeah, whatever scripts you got to run to prep your machine should be in the repo as well.
Yeah, which is something I actually quite like about team build. VSTS build here is I was wanting to do some custom PowerShell stuff, because I had some another build I was working on. I needed to do a bunch of really non-standard build steps, and I was like, just thinking back to working with Team City or other build systems in the past, and it's just like, okay, I want to run like an arbitrary command. It's like type PowerShell, and then it gives you a big text box, and you just type in what you need, and then that machine dies, and you've got no proper backups, and all of a sudden you've lost all that script. Whereas VSTS is like, you can run PowerShell, but you've got to point me at a PowerShell file in your repository. I'm not giving you a text box to just run stuff.
Yeah.
Which is kind of
it's. Cool. I mean, I often find, I'd just love to be able to just type in a PowerShell command in this build script, but it does force some good behavior.
I really just want to run something arbitrary, but it's forcing me to good practice. Damn it! Damn you and your good practices.
Yeah. Did you, whilst we were waiting for this to run through, did you follow the thread going on in the Node community about the Chakra pull request that was sent through?
I've been watching it, and I've read a little bit of what's happened, and yeah, it's pretty cool. That I'm really keen to see how that plays out. Just the fact that there's so much more ES6 or 2015 or whatever you want to call it support in Chakra, it makes it really, really appealing to not have to transpile a whole bunch of stuff if you're writing node code. Obviously, the other advantage I see is that having that abstraction layer between your runtime and your and Node itself using NAN.
Yep.
And then that means that it's a whole lot easier to run on embedded devices or phones and things like that, because you don't have this really strict dependency on you have to be able to get V8 onto that device. Which is why I can see it really useful in like the Win 10 IoT scenario, which is what they first sort of did it all about. Okay, so that's green second time.
You should go out and buy a lotto ticket right now.
Man, people are going to be watching this video going, what were these guys like thinking? It's going to be like really hard to set up this extension. It's super easy, guys. So just when I was running, I realized that the current version of VS Code, which is 0.10.6, is using a slightly updated version of Electron, 0345, and I was working on 0341 for all that rebuild stuff. So I'm just about to do a quick push to add in that change, and I've also done the VSCE stuff. So in VSCE. So that's now with inside of. So I'm going to have that as a script instead of having to have that other npm install -g. So just one moment while I write a commit message.
You might want to remove the. Well, it's going to build automatically anyway.
Yeah, and that's the point. I kind of want to also prove that it's pointed to GitHub appropriately and it's listening and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so update Electron dependency and
so I can't wait for Jake to ship his Git version with cross-platform support.
You want to use that on your Mac?
Yeah.
Right, I'm just going to delete that one, save, and see if I can save before the new build kicks off.
It would have already started. Did you push before? Yeah, I'd say that's running the old script.
Let's find out. Damn.
It's pretty quick. It's how fast can you change something before a HTTP request is made from GitHub to VSTS?
Yeah. Given the Wi-Fi connectivity at where I am at the moment, I was expecting it to be a whole lot slower on VSCE. So let's just hook in VSCE.
Now, are you doing the publish from that, or are you just doing the package creation? Because there's two commands.
Yeah, so first off, I'm going to do the package creation, and I want to have a look at the package that we get generated out of that, and I push that to an artifact. Can I control the artifact directory?
Well, there's a command, so you can use the copy and publish build artifacts task. So what that kind of does is just allows you to pick the output from any arbitrary location and just pull that into the artifact repository. So.
The documentation for VSC is
awesome.
It's elsewhere. It's not actually in the README file. Okay.
That's right. I can dig the if I go to my GitHub repo, I've got the.
So what do you do about what do you do about the login stuff? Because obviously that needs to be done.
I'm just trying to let me just figure that out. I've just got to try and remember that. I think I use
variables and having like a private variable.
Yeah, I think from memory. Let me just jump across to that variables. Yeah, so I use the personal access token. So you generate a personal access token for
yes. So then it can be revoked at any given time.
Yeah, but what I do is I've sort of got mine separated. So I do the build, but I don't do the publish from within team build. I actually do that in release management.
That's what I'm thinking to do here as well. So
there's a separate command that you can use to do the the just the package and not the publish, right? So
yeah, so that's VSC package,
package,
and then I want the task of publish build artifacts to then be able to push to the artifacts repository, isn't it? Or do I
Yep.
need
So there's one which is copy, starts with copy. So it's not that one. It's
copy?
that's one.
Copy
Yep, that's the one.
publish?
Yep,
Okay.
that's the one. Yep.
Like that. Cool.
And then what you do is if you, just the artifact name is typically drop.
So artifact name, we're going to drop.
Yep.
Artifact
type, and so that just tells it that you want the server. So
Yep.
so server says, okay, well VSTS is going to put it in its kind of artifact repository, but you can actually make it go to a file share.
Okay.
And then this is just the path. It can be this can be a globbing syntax as well.
Yeah. It started
But
off is X, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
VSIX. Other way around. VSIX.
Yep.
And so then if you save that and then trigger the build, then we can go and look at the artifact repository after the build completes and see where it got it.
Yep. Okay. Cure build. Number 2 in. Whoa. My hosted agent's being flooded.
Wait until you use up all your build minutes.
Oh, damn it. I should have checked that before we started this.
I had to take the spending limit off my Azure account so that I could pay for more build minutes.
I need to, oh, actually, yeah, that reminds me. I have a Azure VM I need to turn off. My wife runs a Surface 2 RT as her device, but every quarter she has to submit a BAS, and that you can't do off a RT device because it needs Java installed. So I have an Azure VM for her to submit a BAS. All right. All right, how's the still in the queue?
Yeah, not long now though. It's much better they got this UI in here now, because originally they didn't have this sort of indicator of where you are in the queue, and so people would think that builds have hung.
Yeah, he's sitting there going, eventually I'm sure something will happen.
Yep.
There we go. And then once we get all this done, we just need to somehow work out how to get these steps automated and given to Microsoft so that you can just go new build definition, VS Code extension, and then magic.
Well, you can save a template, right? So you can certainly add it to your own sort of template.
Yeah. Yes, but for all those people that are eagerly watching this video and want to go out and create their own automated builds of VS Code extensions, and then have to keep rewinding the video. How's that going? I forgot to set my license field in my package JSON. I should fix that one.
Yeah. Oh, another commit.
Yeah, let's trigger off.
That's one of the reasons I like to separate the build from the release.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, so then it becomes very clear about what's happening and when.
Yeah, you can make that explicit decision.
What are we doing? We're still doing
waiting for this one.
All right, we've hit Electron.
It's taken a while.
Yeah. I must be running out of build minutes.
I think you're right. I think the default allocation's something like 240 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine. These are averaging the whole 3.5 minutes or something a build, so I think it should be fine.
We haven't had a build fail yet, so
that is true. Because like we're just having great success with all our builds. Oh, there's Electron done.
Can you hear my dog snoring in the background?
No. I think we've got enough audio filtering to not get that.
Wish I could have some audio filtering on this side. It's getting there.
Oh, come on. Rebuilds.
It's running a bit slower this time.
Yeah, it's much slower than the previous ones that we've had. That sucks. This is not particularly exciting for all those people who are actually watching this recording. All that one person.
I'm assuming anyone who watches this will watch it on fast forward.
At least on double speed.
Unless there you go.
There we go. Oh, damn.
Oh, what happened there?
Oh, I know why. I've screwed up in my build template. It's supposed to be run.
Yep, and then in the options.
Yeah. Damn it. Oh, now we've got like another 4-minute cycle on this.
Yep. I had this idea, maybe once containers are sort of more there on Windows, of having this sort of process where every single task within the build agent is actually run within a progressive sort of Docker container hierarchy. And so if a particular build step fails, what you'd be able to do is, in theory, restart the build with an updated list of task definitions, and it would just resume from the previous container. So, the git step, the git command would be executed in a container, and then the npm install step would actually be executed in a separate container, which inherits from the previous container. And so if you wanted to change the command, you'd be able to do it.
Yep. And then
so you'd be able to resume halfway through.
Yeah. Interesting.
Kind of like edit and continue for builds. if that doesn't make anyone shudder.
Yeah. And I'm sure you're going to implement that in your free time.
Yeah.
Free time.
Well, I kind of wonder whether it would be possible, because they've got the VS agent code for for OS X, right? So they got the Node, the cross-platform build agent. So in theory, you could take a fork of that repository and sort of hack it in somehow. So it just sort of creates containers behind the scenes.
Mm. Oh, yeah. There'd essentially be steps, but yeah, get it to pick up from where it was last time would be a bit challenging.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what it would do is it would sort of falsely report that a step had completed immediately when you redid the build.
Yeah, yes, it would. Interesting. I will. Now that you've announced it on a YouTube video, it's going to have to happen. So I'll eagerly await the outcome.
I was just an idle thought.
Oh, so anyone that's just gone, yes, I've been waiting for that. Oh, I'm going to have to do it myself.
That's right. I'm looking forward to someone else implementing that for me.
The good news is this build seems to be going a whole lot faster than the last one.
Yeah, yeah. We're lucky we weren't doing this yesterday.
Yeah.
I think the VSTS ops team weren't having a good day yesterday, that's for sure.
No. That's the joy of software as a service. You take that out, and it goes down, and everyone notices.
That's right.
And everyone gets pissy.
Be interesting to see what the post-incident analysis is. So they found the root cause after a while, but I don't think they said what it was.
Right. Yeah, I haven't been following the threads on that one. So yeah, I'll just read the summary at the end of the day, and be like, oh well, I was in sales meetings for most of yesterday, so it didn't affect me anyway.
Fortunately for most people, they can still work because they've got, they're using Git or something like that as their version control.
Yeah, it's like when the internet collapsed because GitHub went down the other day. Well, look, at least we're getting some failed failed builds now, so that's good. It proves that our build is actually doing something.
Yeah. So what's going on there? It's exit code 1. So VSC package command.
So
I'm wondering if it's your npm command.
It's most likely that. I mean, I didn't actually test this locally. I just wrote some stuff in here and pushed it up, like a true champion. Don't actually test locally. You just test on the build server.
That's right.
A sec. I'm going to set it to run locally.
CI was invented for people like you.
Exactly.
Still no post-incident analysis on yesterday. Might take a little while to put it together.
All right, I'll swap Hangouts across to a different screen now that we've just done another inception. Whoops, I think I just canceled my screen share. Where is it? Come on. Where is... Oh, there we go. Now it's giving me screen share options. There we go. Okay, so npm run npm install. Just see if I've got VSCE. I can get VSCE installed. I actually haven't done that yet. Download the internets.
I think I need to make npm bring up a little little game of Space Invaders whilst you wait for packages to download.
Apparently, you can turn off this progress bar, and it speeds it up by a fairly decent amount.
Okay.
I saw a bunch of tweets about that last week, but I didn't pay enough attention to work out how to actually turn off the progress bar. That's future Aaron's problem.
It's going to be an issue in the .NET Core space as well, with pretty much the entire runtime coming down as npm packages. Sorry, not as NuGet packages.
So I was setting up a ASP.NET Core V1 Next, or whatever it's now called, build in VSTS the other day, and I realized that so you have all the NuGet packages from there, and then you have all the Node packages if you've done
takes ages.
And you just got 15 minutes of build time, which is just downloading files.
I think
it's crazy. I was watching our build times, and it goes up for just the one task, which is the restore task, and then everything else is like seconds, and here we've got minutes of downloads.
Yeah, I wonder if they can come up with a way of securely dropping that time, so that the build server has that stuff pre-prepped for the most common stuff.
Yeah, you'd hope so, but time will tell. That should have worked. Modules VSC.
I'm still watching it download Electron in your PoshGit session.
I was just having a look at the command while I was waiting for this to download, and it should work. It should. Says the developer. It should work. Like, what's wrong with the code? Damn it. There we go. Okay, cool. Everything is done. Let's clear that out. npm run VSCE package. See what your issue is. Boom.
Okay. Well, that's promising.
Okay. Okay, so if I go node.bin VSTE package, this is the command that it should be running. That's really, really useful.
Is this this couldn't be a line ending issue, could it?
Oh no, I have a terrible feeling that this is using spawn. Let's change the screen that I'm sharing to VS Code. Let's have a look at this command. Whoops, wrong one. VSE. So this goes to VSE out. VSE, that's what it runs. Yep. Which is VSE out. So it runs this, which then shell up to everything. This is required main. Okay.
So it's using Commander there, I think. Look at it.
Yeah, I would have thought that ran.
Package. Okay, so action.
VS. So.
Oh
no! Hang on a sec. I had the problem. It's the pre-published script. VS Code bin compile. So what I just noticed, actually, reading the output error messages as is probably useful. So it runs this VS Code command here, right?
Yep.
So that's run in a pre-published step. So that must be some event that is triggered from the package command inside of VSCE.
Yep.
So that's gone node modules VS Code bin compile. So if we go VS Code bin compile, so it's tried to execute this, which is my result. So it's gone to load TypeScript. But the problem is going to have been that it tried to do node explicitly. Let's come up here. We have like VS Compile. No. So I think the error is going to be if screen share, back to PoshGit. So the error, like if we actually look at the error message that was received here in my phone, it says failed to do cmd.exe sc then run node modules VS Code bin compile. I actually don't have Node in my path permanently because I have multiple versions of Node. So I swap back and forth. So Node is not in my path, which is probably the reason for that error. Now,
but it should be in the path on the build server, though.
It should be. So let's go back to our build server and have a look. No, so it said that the command has failed executing node modules VS Code
Same thing.
compile. Yeah. All right.
So what's it actually? But it's file executing that command. It's not a file not found or anything like that.
Yeah, which makes me think that it's had some issue with trying to run Node itself, which is bizarre because
It's in the path.
Node might not be in the path. So if you have a look, like 4 lines up from where the error was, there's a light blue line. This is where it's run the npm step. It's been explicit about pathing npm. It hasn't just just gone npm and expected it to be available within path. I wonder if that's the issue.
Well, if you go up to the top, these ones don't output all the environment. In release management outputs all the environment variables. What you could do is you don't want to explicitly set it in your package.
No, I don't want to have some expectation about things like about folder structures and stuff on these build agents, because then that's all of a sudden not portable. It's not going to work in. Yeah. All right. Well, I think maybe we'll wrap it up here because I might have to do some other investigations, work out where the node is somewhere global, or how to shoehorn that in and stuff like that.
Well, what we could do for now is just put the VSTS command back in.
Yeah.
In the build script, so that way we can get your package into the artifact repository.
Yep.
Then you come back and clean up the script.
So I just oops.
You go on. Please hold while we experience technical difficulties.
I just accidentally closed Chrome, so that's probably had some fun for the screen share that we had going.
Yep. No, all good. You're back presenting again, so you just need to share your screen.
Yep, that should be coming up momentarily. I'm just now waiting for all like the Chrome tabs and everything to load back in. Come on, VSTS. I don't even know how I hit Alt F4 or like managed to kill Chrome. And now VSTS is not going to want to load, of course.
It'll get there eventually.
Finally. Eventually. The joys of the Australian internet connections. All right. Got part of the way there. Go on, build. There we go. Okay. Build extension, edit. Now we're going to. There we go. That. Just going to disable that one. And in retrospect, I shouldn't have deleted the other one that I had, but oh well. Let's add step. Should have just disabled. Oh well. Live and learn. that. I'll just move that one up. And this one will be npm install VSTS-G global. Okay, save. Q build, go, and yeah, well, I didn't actually know. Sorry, I'm going to cancel that build because I just realized I didn't actually tell it to run VSCE. All I did was going to install it. We're actually interested in running VSCE at the end of the day. So
Well,
step.
actually, you've already got it installed, so you can just run it directly out of your node modules because it's a dev dependency, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's what I was trying to do, was trying to run it through that. I'm just going to do a global install, and then.
Okay, and then run the VSC command inside the.
Yep. And then from that, it's just going to be run command. Oops, I need one of those. Tool is going to be VSCE, and then that will be package. That's working folder. I probably need to set the working folder to be. Yeah. Okay. So it will be just a folder to that. Yep. Cool. Save. Queue build.
Way she runs.
It's npm installs and all that stuff. I was just, while this was running, having a look at that warning about not having a license field, but I do actually have a license URL specified in my package JSON. So who knows?
You got to put in the structure of the data has changed, so you've got to use one of the predefined tokens now.
Right.
So you can have like a shortcut string, which is, let's say, Apache 2.0, or you can have an actual JSON object which has the name of the license and the URL or something like that. I think they've changed it a bit.
Well, yeah, I'll have a look at that later on. It's future Aaron's problem to solve.
Yep.
Oh, it's running. What's the average build time? No, it doesn't tell me. No. Well, that's sad. Let's back to our agent console. Cool. Electron download. Rebuild. Install Contextify. Compile. Recompile the node modules. No, I think it must have been something else with that command, because I'm just looking at the current line of the output. It's gone node / node modules electron rebuild. So that command is actually like node is a global thing that it can execute. So I don't know.
I
What's
wouldn't
gone wrong there.
necessarily take that string output as the actual command that's sent to the start process start or whatever. I think it's it might just be some log output.
Yeah, could be. Oh, wow. Said that's something to look at in the next phase. All right, so still VSCE.
Boom.
No, it's still errored on that same
problem.
reason. Yep. All right. Well,
Okay.
I think I might need to do some more research into
Debugging.
what's happening here. Yeah, some additional debugging.
Did you get any similar error in your local environment
Yeah,
like
because I'm
that?
getting a similar error locally. So there's obviously something that I've got in there that's probably not quite right. Oh, cool. I mean, we've got 75% of the way there. It's a good start.
We'll have to do a part 2 once you figure out what that problem is, and
Yeah,
then
once we see the bills going back to green.
all right, no worries.
Cool. All right.
I'll press stop broadcast.
That was fun.
See ya. Thanks, mate. Bye.
See ya.